Hi, everyone. My name is Mrs. Ellis. Welcome to AP Psychology. I am so sorry that I'm not actually that sorry, but I'm sorry I don't get to be with you to start this class off this year. The reason that I'm not actually that sorry is because I'm at home taking care of little baby Jack. You can see him over here down in the bottom left. Jack now is 3 months old. These photos are all kind of from his newborn photo shoot. And I'm just taking my time, spending time with family, caring and loving for these two little bugs. On the left here is Emma. Emma is now 1.5 years. She is such a little stinker. You see my husband in the upper left-hand corner or upper right-hand. I don't know how it's going to present for you guys. His name is Neil. And like I said, I'm Mrs. Ellis, and I am the sole AP Psychology teacher up here at Wayzata High School. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an introduction to myself. I'll go in far more detail when I actually come back in October. You will see me as your teacher again on October 23rd. That's the week following MEA. I know that feels like a really long ways away, but it's going to fly. But again, I just wanted to give you kind of a face to a name for who this hypothetical teacher is or is going to be, and then also give you some insight into why I am not with you to start off the school year. So this is it. This is the fam. And again, you're going to learn a lot more about me once I'm in class with you. Anybody who's had me before knows far more about my personal life and my little family than they probably need to know. So we'll have fun. We'll connect everything back content-wise to kind of my experience, your experience, and we're gonna have a good time. So I just wanted to make this video as kind of an introduction to what to expect from the class. As I will be back in October, I want to make sure that I'm kind of setting the stage and setting the groundwork for what the expectation is, and so that expectation can be consistent throughout the entirety of the semester. So the first thing that you guys need to know is that this is an AP class. You have chosen to be here, right? Because you're interested in psychology, because you maybe want to do psychology as a career in the future. Maybe you've heard good things about the class from your peers. Whatever the reason is, you chose to be in this AP class. And with that in mind, note that our end goal is to prepare you to successfully navigate the AP exam in May. May sounds like a really long ways away, and it kind of is. That's kind of the give and take between first and second semester AP Psychology. If you take it first semester, you get a little bit of a break in content before you have to kind of revisit that and prepare yourself for the exam. The kids who take it second semester will be kind of studying right up to the date, but they have a shorter time in which to learn a lot of this content. So give and take. There are pros and cons to both first and second semester classes. With that said, many of you maybe have taken an AP class before, so you know what to expect. Some of you, maybe you haven't. This is your first AP class, and I say, yay, this is a great class to have as your first AP class. Is it challenging? Is there a lot of content? Yes. But is it relevant and interesting? Also, yes. Our kids who in the past have taken this as their first AP class do tend to have a lot of success, just because we are so easily able to make connections between the class content and what we're doing in our everyday lives. So take that with a grain of salt. Do note that the AP exam, again, it's May 2nd. It's the second day of exam testing for all of the AP stuff. It consists of 100 questions of multiple choice and 2 FRQs or free response questions. With that in mind, all of our tests and assessments are formatted to align with that expectation. So your unit tests are 50 questions, your FRQs are 7 points, and we are going to kind of practice that format and that level of rigor throughout the entirety of the semester so that when you get to the AP exam, it's not like, whoa, this is way harder than anything that I've done before. It's like, oh, I've got this. We've been practicing this for a full semester. Okay. With that said, as it's an AP class, all of you, whether you intend to take the AP exam or not, you should intend to take the AP exam because we have a really high pass rate and it's good for college. Whether you intend to take it or not, you need to register onto the College Board website. Okay. So This is linked on Canvas, but for right now in class, I'm going to ask, I don't know who your sub is at this point that I'm making the video. Otherwise, I would name them by name, but I'm going to ask your sub to pause the video and make sure that you guys are pulling out your iPads, going to myapcollegeboard.org, and joining my AP Psychology course. Your sub should either have updated these slides or put the join code on the whiteboard so you have access to that. Okay, ready? Pause. Okay, you should have hopped on to your iPad, joined AP College Board. Obviously, if you are having any issues, your sub can reach out to me. Otherwise, Miss Swenson, down on second floor, B207, she is our AP coordinator, and she is going to be your go-to lady for any questions regarding the AP kind of College Board side of things. Okay, I'm in charge of content. She's in charge of like the administrative stuff as it pertains to AP. With that said, shifting our attention then to this class in specific, what are the expectations? What is the day-to-day going to look like? What is the grading setup like? And this is it. You have 70% of your grade is going to be demonstrated through summative assessment. 20% is through formative, and you will have 2 finals at the end of each term, and those are worth 10% of your term grade. Okay, so let's look at summative. I kind of already talked a little bit about what these tests are going to look like as they're formatted after what the AP exam is expecting of you. But I'll go into a little more detail here. Your unit summative assessments will all be 50 questions, multiple choice, and you will have a 7-point FRQ. Now the AP exam is timed. Okay, you have 70 minutes to complete 100 questions. That is, it will feel pretty quick if we just jumped in right at that standard, right? So what we are going to do, the first test that you are going to take is going to be untimed. It's going to give you a chance to really think about what are these questions like? How are they formatted? Did I study appropriately? Give yourself some time to really work through the test itself, because I know when you're starting a new class, that's kind of a little bit of a sticking point, maybe adds a little bit of anxiety. You just don't know what to expect. So first test, untimed. Second test, you will have 50 minutes to complete 50 multiple choice questions. Okay. The next test, you will have 45 minutes to complete 50 multiple choice questions. And that's going to continue until we get down to standard AP timing, which is 35 minutes for 50 questions. And then that's going to carry us through, and we're just going to keep practicing that timing. Okay. It sounds quick. Obviously, if you have any accommodations or you need extra support in terms of that timing, that's something that you can talk to the sub about. They can reach out to me. But usually if you have extended time on like the AP exam or the ACT, it's absolutely fine to take that time as well for your summative assessments. The reason being, right, we're practicing like we play, right? We're practicing our testing in the way we're expected to demonstrate our understanding through the AP exam. So just kind of keep that in mind. You will also have a 7-point FRQ for every test. Those are free response questions, which I've made another video about how to do that. And before your test, you will take a day and just kind of practice with the how-to of that type of test. Okay. You will also see that there are projects listed under the summative assessment. For most units, you will have like a summative project. The goal here is that, like, while tests are important, right, and that's the end goal, is taking that AP exam and being successful on it, I also know that we want to find a little bit of a balance between how we are demonstrating our understanding, right, through summative assessment in terms of tests, but also in projects. Okay. So there's a little bit of a balance there to make it not so test heavy. It's still going to be a little test heavy, but not so test heavy, right? For the first mini unit that you are doing, it's going to be a memory unit, and your project is like creating a study guide that you can use on the test. You can't use a study guide on any other test, just the first one. And I think it's 20 points. Your sub will go over the explicit in and outs of the project itself. But again, your test for that mini unit is 30 multiple choice questions, and then you'll have a 20-point summative project, which is that study guide. So again, balancing out that grade a little bit. The last piece of this particular category are the test corrections. It is expected that you complete test corrections. I don't care if you got a 98%. Go back and figure out why you got that one question wrong, right? You're going to go through this memory unit and you're going to really look at research relating to how the relearning process and revisiting content helps us solidify understanding and memory in our mind. If we just test on it one time and never think about it again, think like like you memorize and then you dump it after you test, that is not going to support our success for the final or the AP exam. So the goal is, right, you read it, you take notes on it, you take a reading quiz, which we'll talk about, practice with applying that content, right? You study, you take a test, you revisit that test, figure out what you got wrong, and then you have to study again for the final. Then by the time you're re-preparing for the AP exam, that's the 7th time you've been like working with, studying, learning this material, right? And that process, that building process, that relearning, revisiting process is what's going to help us be successful. So again, test corrections are expected. Your sub will go over kind of like when and how and the nitty-gritty details of that, but just know it is my expectation that you are completing test corrections, whether you got a 98% or a 50%. Okay. I said it. You are doing test corrections no matter what. Those test corrections are 1/3 of a point back. So for every 3 questions that you do, you get a full point. You dig? Oh, the other thing about that, I won't put your scores in until your test corrections are complete. Yeah. Formative. Moving on, 20% category. Your homework is a daily reading every night. Expect to have a reading every night. If you don't, yay, that's a celebration, right? But most nights you will have a reading. And the expectation is that you're taking notes on those readings, and then you can use those notes to complete the 5-point Canvas quiz at the start of each class that we will go over. Make sure you guys are understanding the content before digging into that application work, okay? With that said, sometimes in any new class, especially social studies classes, we get kind of bogged down in what to take notes on. And I get it. I totally do. It might feel really overwhelming and like a lot of work at the beginning in the next couple of nights to really figure out how much you need to write down, how long these readings are going to take you. But in the next few weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks out, right, you should be down to about 30 minutes of homework a night. It shouldn't really be more than that. If you are continuing to have a lot more than that, it's something that maybe warrants a conversation about what do your notes look like? Excuse me. What do your notes look like? And what do you really, really need to hone in on in order to be successful on the reading quizzes? I think once you've taken a few reading quizzes and you kind of get a sense of like what those are expecting of you, I think you'll be able to kind of parse out and slim down on those notes. Okay. So that's the 20%. I will drop the low 3 scores just with the understanding that like you all have lives outside of my classroom. I get it. You might have a soccer game and you forget to read and you come into class and you bomb the quiz. Fine. Life will go on. We'll drop that quiz. Okay. At the end of the term, we'll drop it. And it shouldn't hurt your grade. Cool. The last piece of this little grade puzzle is your 10% finals. This obviously isn't updated on the slide, but at the end of term 1, you will have a 50-point cumulative final. And then at the end of term 2, you will have a 100-point cumulative final. So that final at the end of term 2 will cover everything from terms 1 and 2. Again, the intent here is that we're prepping ourselves to be successful in the AP exam, and you need to know it all for the AP exam. So it'd be silly if our final didn't cover it all, right? All right. So there you have it. That's kind of a brief introduction to kind of the underpinnings of how we are going to navigate this class together and what my expectations are of you. I am going to now hand it off to your sub to kind of work through the intro content. What is psychology? What are the perspectives of psychology? You get to go back into kindergarten and trace your hand. it's all very fun and exciting. Obviously, if you guys are having any questions, if you're struggling, if you need anything, you can always reach out to your sub and they can touch base with me. I'm technically not supposed to do anything, but obviously I am here and I can help if there are extenuating circumstances. Okay. So enjoy these first few weeks without me. I miss you. I'm bummed that I don't get to start everything off with you, but I will see you with a smiling face, lots of coffee on October 23rd. Enjoy, have fun, work hard, and obviously always advocate for yourself. If you need anything, reach out to your sub and we can figure it out.